Hello and welcome to the Music City Mindset. And let me tell you, we have a hard-hitting episode for you supersetters out there. The reason why this is such a hard-hitting show, I'm not the only one packing a punch in here today. I'm not here alone. I am here with the co-owner of Board and Brush in Hendersonville, a man that I watched go back and forth, wooing with Ric Flair one time. When we were at Tootsie's, it felt like this was my tag team partner, my best friend of over 30 years, Evan Butler.
Man, thank you.
Yeah. Evan, I don't know if you've seen the debate that's going around online. I want to hear your opinion. 100 humans versus one gorilla. No weapons, no restraints, but you can pick the 100 humans. Do we as humans stand a chance?
I mean, we'll probably get in trouble with Peter or somebody. But
the internet's pretty split. Like, some people are like, this is stupid that this is even a debate. A gorilla is going to maul everyone. And there's some people that actually think, with the right group of people, with bare hands, we could take down a silverback gorilla.
yeah, I mean, 100 people. I think we could, if we get to pick them. When you first posed the question, I thought you were about to say just 100 people in general, and I'm like, judging by traffic alone today, no. So,
yeah, I think I don't know. I think that if we pick the right humans, I think it's possible. But then someone asks, like, okay, what's the plan of attack? And I go through this, but then it's like, are we actually going to, like, punch it to death? Like, what?
I know.
Can we choke it out?
I need more info because, like, what did this gorilla do to me? Like, why are we beefing with this gorilla? You know,
Harambe.
For dominance.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
for dominance.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what does that do for the food chain if we have to admit that one gorilla could kill 100 of us?
Well, they're probably going to revoke our zoo memberships or whatever after this. But
I think you got to have, first off, you got to have 100 people buy in. And I don't know that I got 100 motherfuckers that are going to just buy into this, because the first 10 are gone immediately.
Yeah, the first wave's done.
Yeah, arms ripping off.
Yeah.
The second wave, are you going to be fully bought in after you just watch this homeboy get his arms ripped off?
I think it depends, like you said. Like, if we get to pick, bro, give me, like, the '04 Detroit Pistons.
Brock Lesnar.
Give me Brock Lesnar. Give me some UFC guys, right?
Yeah.
Give me 30 Polynesians.
And I think we got a chance.
George the Animal Steel by himself.
I mean, he'd at least bite it. You know,
Yeah.
the turnbuckle used to bite.
Rikishi.
Exactly.
We're not trying just to fill him up. We want to wear him down.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you pick it, I think it's feasible. But yeah, there's going to be some sacrifices made. There's going to be some.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
100 ain't walking out. That's for sure.
No
Yeah.
way.
You know where you stand on my list by the end of this gorilla thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
This is more important than where you ranked on my MySpace.
Right.
Top
Top
eight.
friends,
Yeah.
the top 8.
Oh, yeah.
Who am I sending out first?
Oh man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the voice you heard chiming in with his opinion on this is someone that would probably be on my short list of this 100 if I have to pick it. If I've got to go out there, someone I want in my back. Our first local legend here on this show. He was a college football player, a former teammate of mine at the Nashville Storm. He was the CCW Tennessee State Champion. He was the CCW International Champion, the USWO Tag Team Champion, now the face of the Pro Wrestling Symphony, a Polynesian powerhouse, Mr. Nashville, King of Nashville, Colby the Code Carter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What an intro.
Yeah.
What an intro.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. That was. Man, I'm gonna have you like introduce me to the ring if you're gonna say all that.
Literally anytime. June 1st.
Anytime.
June 1st.
June 1st.
All right.
Give me a
Shameless
microphone.
plug already. June 1st.
June 1st. We will definitely get there. So the concept of this show, Colby, is that we sit down and talk to people that are doing really big things here in the city of Nashville. The common theme so far is that no one is from here, because when you meet people here, no one's from here anymore, right?
They're all from California or somewhere else, right?
But like, everyone has an equal love and passion for the growth of Nashville.
True.
So it's kind of this journey that we've been on of, like, how has somewhere that's not your home become your home? right? So intertwined with your story and pushing what we need to talk about, it's just been like the evolution of Nashville and like the opportunities that you have now because of the city and the growth and how much it's changed from the time we were growing up.
Yeah.
So as you were a kid, you know, this wasn't a huge circuit
No.
of pro wrestling here locally.
Right.
The closest that was like on the map was Memphis.
Yeah.
Nashville had some, you know, back in the day, but like it was still our love of, at least growing up here, my love of wrestling happened still watching TV, not necessarily falling in love with
Right.
the local circuit.
Absolutely.
So how old were you when you fell in love with wrestling? And were you a kid that always wanted to be like, this is what I want to do one day? Or at what point did you also decide like, this is something that was realistic for you?
Man, I mean, I think like all of us, we grew up watching it anyway, right? I remember watching, I forgot which show it was, but Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon having the ladder match. I remember I went home that night, and I was really little when that happened, but I remember I went home that night, and I couldn't go to sleep because it was something that was so cool to me. You know what I mean? Like something that was so unique and the male soap opera that is pro wrestling, you know?
Yes.
And I just grew up watching it, and I was always stuck to it because even when you're a kid, you love superheroes and villain stories, right?
Right.
It's exactly what pro wrestling is. Good guys, bad guys, superheroes, villains. The superhero chasing the villain. Sometimes the villain wins, and then we get a sequel, right? But it was something that I've always wanted to do. Even in fast forward a little bit to high school, freshman year, I had a teacher, Miss Middleton, at Beach. I think it's Miss Plaus, I think is her name now. But in econ, we had to write a paper on like what you wanted to be growing up. And I wrote 2 separate papers, and I wrote one on being a pro wrestler because that's what I passionately wanted to do.
Wow.
And then I wrote one on being a pro football player. And I remember I looked at both of them. We had to present them to the class. You know, at that age, like, well, maybe I should just do football. I don't want to do, maybe wrestling's kind of nerdy. So I remember I folded it up and put it in my pocket. And I still have that paper at home. I still have that paper that I wrote. It's not very legible anymore, but because it's all handwritten.
Yeah.
But I have that exact paper written, and I still have it in my house. So I knew it was something that I was bought into from a young age. And
Man, I'd frame that.
it's just something cool to like remind myself. Like I'm always big on like reminding myself where I came from, you know, and what I do and who I do it for, you know, and that's always something that I look back on. So
Because obviously you could have, you know, actually like wrestled in high school.
right.
But there's not a pathway
No, not
for
at
something
all.
like that. Just like some of the sports in the Olympics, like bobsledding, things like no one bobsledded in college.
Yeah,
like,
how do I get on the handball team? I saw
Right.
that. It looked great, by the way. Like, I wish I would have done that. Like, how do I get on that or the curling team, right? There's no such thing.
they look
you
like
know?
they just rip cigs and drink beer and slide these
the
things on the
American
ice.
dream,
Yeah,
brother.
like I want to do that. I want to wrestle.
Right.
I get
So-
you folding it up, putting it in your pocket too, because we all hit an age where, like, I'm still a fan. I might not watch it every week at that point, but in high school, especially, there's people that like girlfriends and different things going, "Hey, aren't you too old for that or this
Right.
that?" And you're like, "Oh, you don't get it.
Right.
You hadn't watched it enough." You hadn't
Right.
watched it
And I mean, you know, like you're trying to be the cool kid, right? I mean, I think there was a gap in time where I just didn't watch it at all. And then I just got sucked back into it. And I've
Same.
been
Yeah.
stuck there ever since. And I love it now. I mean, it's more mainstream now than it's been in a long time, which is
Yeah.
awesome to me. So.
Well, and we're in the era of I get to go back and watch, you know, Bruiser Brody or
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
like, you know, Dynamite Kid, and I didn't have access to those as a young kid.
Sure.
And now, you know, if you'd asked me who my top wrestler was, who this person, it's changed over the years drastically because now I can, like, you know, go through that old footage
Right,
and stuff.
right.
It's
Yeah,
kind of neat.
a lot of that stuff's on YouTube, and sometimes it's fun to put it on and just.
It is, man, because I
watch
mean,
what
we
it was.
constantly get ideas from older matches. You know, like
Yeah.
you don't want to recreate the same exact thing, but there's times I'll watch a match and I'm like, oh, that's a Bret Hart spot. Oh, that's a Shawn Michaels spot.
Right.
You know, and stuff like that because they're still heavily influenced in today's wrestling, which is cool.
Who was your favorite growing up?
Shawn Michaels
You said that.
was my favorite. There's no not even second close. I think Jeff Hardy was cool, like when we
Yeah.
were growing up, but as far as like a guy that could outwork anyone, could outshow anyone. And dude, he's Mr. WrestleMania. Like,
Yeah.
who doesn't want to be Mr. of the biggest stage of all time every single year? You know. But,
Man, I actually
he was the
literally
guy,
just the
man.
other day, because I saw a clip it on Instagram, and I went back and actually watched one of Flair's final matches when he sweet chin music.
He said, "I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
love you." And
yeah.
just kicked his freaking head
Oh
off.
my God!
And what grown man? I don't care. I come to I kind of choke up a little bit.
Oh,
you
bro,
know, when
that's-
you see
That's
that.
why I went back and watched the whole match. It was
Yeah.
like I was like, this pulled on some heartstrings. I'm gonna go
And
back and watch
and
it.
to HBK's credit, like
Yeah.
he wasn't fully healthy then, wrestling a Ric Flair that was old at
Yeah.
the time, right?
Yeah.
But he did that. He could wrestle anyone. He could wrestle a broomstick and make the broomstick look good.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about him.
Well, I mean, that's why I think that match was probably one of my favorite. Maybe not favorite, but like most memorable matches that I can remember.
Oh, for
watching,
sure.
because that was the story for both of them.
Right.
Flair could put anybody over.
Absolutely.
And Shawn was the same way.
Yeah.
And to watch them go at it like that
Yeah.
was wild. So, with HBK being like a big influence
Mm-hmm.
on your life, obviously you focus on football first.
Sure.
Played at college. We played a little bit together,
Yep.
semi-pro. Was there any part of you that kind of channeled some of that energy, like while you're playing?
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, because it's all about theatrics, right? And
Yeah.
like we're all about hard hitting,
Especially at the Storm.
Yeah, well, yeah, we won't get into all that. But when I was at Cumberland,
Yeah.
the second game of my career there, because I played safety, or I played receiver my first year there. They ran the wing tee, and I said, "Hey, dog, move me to safety. I'm not."
You ran the wing tee in college?
Don't get me started. Yeah.
Okay.
I got there for the spring game, and they're running bubble screens and tonal screens. I'm like, this is like my jam.
That's what we did in high school.
You didn't have to say it like
Dude,
that.
well, dude, I played in high school at Beach. Like the wing
Right.
tee is like the death of receivers, right?
Yeah.
So I get to Cumberland and I come to the spring game and they're running tunnel screens, bubble screens, quit hitters, and I'm like, this is my game. Like quicker than fast. That's my game. I get there to camp and they start installing the offense. It's like, all right, this is pro right G28 tan gold toss, and I was like, oh my God, this is a wing tee offense. Like, what am I doing here? I didn't sign up to play in this.
Yeah.
So second year, I'm like, dude, move me to corner safety. So they put me at safety. Second game, we're playing at Lambeth, and I have a guy come across the middle, and I just tee off on him, knock his helmet off and everything. And big Sean Merriman fan back in the
Yeah.
day, right? So I hit that on the guy.
Oh, yeah, lights out.
On top of him,
Lights
right?
out.
Because he was a pester the whole freaking game, and
Yeah.
I finally got a hold of him. So I hit the lights out, threw a flag on me, threw me out of the game. I had to sit on the sideline like a sad puppy the rest of the game.
Oh,
dude.
well, I mean, you played a short time. You played with me. There's nothing worse than celebrating and then getting kicked out.
Oh,
Now
it's so embarrassing.
It's so
'Cause
embarrassing.
It's like, all right, now you've shown out, and now you're getting thrown out. Now you look like a total idiot,
Yeah.
but yeah, so there's a little bit of theatrics there, right? Like I
Yeah.
should have had some pyro and some music behind me when I hit him that
Right.
hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there is. It's always intertwined being athletic, anyways. There's
But it
always
was a clean hit.
100%.
The penalty was on the
It
celebration.
was on the celebration, yeah. Because
Yeah.
back then there weren't penalties for hard hits
Yeah.
like that. I
No.
launched my helmet and everything into his
No,
chin.
I think
whatever.
if anything, that's your time at the Storm wasn't as respected as maybe you would like to. I think because you were such a clean player.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
you definitely by the rules.
Yeah, because I played
Yeah.
receiver there too. Because
Yeah.
y'all run like 5 wide, and I was like, well, I got
Yeah.
I got a much better chance of
Yeah.
being out here playing receiver than playing the one corner.
Yeah.
Those
Until-
were fun games to watch.
Felipe just
until
fucking
you're
birds down there somewhere.
dude, right, Bird and Pistol. I remember
Yeah,
Pistol.
yeah.
Shout out Pistol, by the way.
Yeah.
I liked him. But it sucked when we got to like the inter squad scrimmage, and I look up, and all the safeties and DBs are all looking over at the play call because they all used to play receiver.
Yeah.
So like Otto. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, he knows what this is. I got to run a route better than he thinks I can even run it. He
Yeah.
already knows what's coming next.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is frustrating, man. It's hard to get a look out here,
Yeah.
But
I equate those
Yeah.
those days very much to wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen him, 4 or 5 dudes sharing a hotel room because you got a little bit of per
Absolutely,
diem,
100%.
trying to find a cheap meal, this and that.
Yeah.
It's very hand in hand.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing weird to sleep, share a bed with a guy on
Right.
the road, like
Yeah.
being in Chicago, it's like, all right, me and him are probably the smallest guys in this room. We're going to have to share the bed, and it is what it is,
Yeah. My first year in arena ball, we'd have to you would purposely go ahead and pair up as best friends with
Yeah,
it kind of sucked for me because I'm in the middle, but the lineman would find
Oh, Lord.
like a slot receiver.
Oh, yeah, of course,
Like
absolutely.
the small corner or something.
Makes sense, man.
Yeah, but then you got a mid and a mid. It's like we just that's those were not fun hotel
No,
days.
absolutely not.
So the transition from that of understanding life on the road and things like that, that one was something that wasn't like foreign to you.
No, I mean, with like the traveling for college too, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of the same thing. You're
Yeah.
always partnered up or roomed up with somebody on the travel. And it's not like we played D1 ball. So like I'm not flying in an airplane, going here, riding the buses everywhere, you know. Obviously someone else is driving, which is always much nicer, I found out when you're on the road. But yeah, it's nothing different than like what I'm used to. The locker rooms are what they are. Might be a hallway, might be a curtain in like a little cubby hole, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I feel like everything in life, whether it's work or sports or whatever, always prepares you for that next thing, whatever it may be, you know.
So we were talking a little bit off air. What was coming into your life after, at one point, writing an entire essay on this is what you wanted to do, and kind of literally and metaphorically folding that up in your pocket, putting that on the back seat in your life.
Yeah.
What was going on in your life that made this accessible, that made you decide that you wanted to like really give this a go?
So I'd been going to a couple of the local promotions, some of their local shows, and I had two of my buddies that would always go with me, the same guys, JD and a buddy of mine, Brian. And I've known JD since fourth grade, and we've always been wrestling fans. Like, if we were having a hard time, like, I'd give him a call, and we would watch SmackDown or Raw, whatever, on the phone the whole time. And we'd basically talk to each other about what's going on. And every show, JD would reach over to me and be like, man, you can do this. Yeah. Man, you can do this. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but, you know, you hear that a lot. Like, oh, you play the NFL? Like, okay, dude. Like, I tried and it didn't work, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you can do this. And just over time, like, and I'm a firm believer, like, the way you talk to yourself is the same way. Like, if you keep hearing the same thing over and over again, you slowly start to believe it, whether it's true or false, right? So he kept telling me that over and over again. We go to WWE, he's like, dude, you could do this, man. Like, why aren't you doing this, you know? So we go to some local shows. I wind up becoming friends with one of the promoters at the CCW show. And they announced the seminar that popped up. And I think we had talked about that a minute ago. And the seminar popped up, and I'm like, man, I've never been in a ring before. Like, all these guys, it's like for all levels, what it says. So I messaged the promoter. I said, hey, man, like, I've never been in a ring before. Is this something, do you think, like, would be worth my time? And typical sales guy, no fault to him. Yeah, dude, it'd be great. It'd be great before you get out here. You know, come try it out. It is what it is. So I get there. And, you know, what's the worst that can happen, man? I love what I do. At the time, I was working at F45 in Hendersonville. I was happy. I really like what I do. I still work for F45. I still love what I do. But it's like, okay, what if I try this and I'm really good at it and I make a lot of money and I'm able to, like, have a big impact on my family's life and other people's lives? Great. If I go there and I don't like it, I'm not any good at it, so be it. I'll go back to what I'm doing every single day and loving it anyway, right?
At least you answered the question.
What's that?
You answered the question of what if.
Right. So, and I got tired of thinking, what if? I got tired of going to those shows, my buddy being like, you can do this. And I'm thinking, like, what if I did? You know, I got to that point where I was like, I'm tired of wondering what if. So I'm just going to go figure it out. Go to the seminar. QT Marshall is the one that's running it. And I told you, he partners everyone up. All right, there's, I don't know, 20 people in here. All right, 21, I'll say. All right, partner everyone up by 2. Who's doing this less than 4 years? So I raised my hand. I'm the only one that raised my hand. He's like, how long have you been working? I was like, I have never been in a ring before. And he was like, oh, man. Really? And he has this look like, why are you here kind of thing, you know?
Because you told me.
And I'm asking him the same thing. Why am I here, dude? I don't know.
Yeah.
So they all pair off, and he was like, why don't you get in the ring with me? So we go over, like, just some real basic drills, like how to not even run the ropes, like kind of how to walk the ropes, how to take a bump, how to do a drop down. And he's noticing me, and I notice he keeps looking at me like, you've never been in a ring before? I'm like, no, I played football, I'm an athlete, but I've never been in a ring before. And he keeps looking at me like side-eye, like, you sure you've never been in a ring? I took my first bump, which everyone always bombs it. It's always like they get up and they're woozy or whatever. But, you know, football, it's like, tuck your chin, just freaking fall, dude. Don't hit your head. Whatever you do, don't hit your head.
You learn how to hit and how to get hit.
Right,
in
which
football.
is very key. People don't realize you learn how to get hit in football, you know. So I take the bump, and after that, I get out, and all the guys have their matches. And I asked him, I was like, hey, is it cool if I sit next to you? He's like, yeah, sure. So the whole time he's going through, he's writing down notes of their matches and whatever's going on. And I'm just asking him questions. I paid for the seminar, dude. I'm gonna get my money's worth,
Yeah.
But I think he appreciated that I was so involved in like, why do you do that? I remember there was one match that was going on, and there was something that happened, and I looked at him and I said, why did that happen? And he said, hold that. Match goes on. Well, then he gets up to give his critiques of the match. I mean, it was like every little step in detail. He did a great job of that, which I will forever appreciate hearing those. Because there's things that I heard there that I wasn't in the ring that I've carried over into now being in the ring, right? And there was one thing that started your match and points at me across the room in front of all these guys that are workers.
The only dude that hadn't been in a ring
The only dude that hadn't been in the ring before. And he goes, what did you ask me earlier? And I was like, why did he do that? I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get killed by these guys. He goes, why did you start off the match like that? Because I think it was a fight. They backed off, took the shirts off, and then locked up. Makes no sense. We're fighting.
Yeah.
I'm not going to back off like, all right, brother, let's lock up. If I'm throwing punches, we're throwing punches. There's going to be a fight at that point, right?
Yeah.
And they had backed off, and it just didn't make any sense. And I think he appreciated that I had noticed that, So then he was like, hey, man, I think you need to start doing this. And I was like, well, like I'm not 18 or 19. Like I'm kind of like late 20s at the time. Like I don't know. And he was like, man, Tom Latimer and Jerry Lynn are opening a school in Nashville. I just don't know where. Reach out to them on social media. We all complain about social media being toxic, but it's great for some things. So I reached out to Tom Latimer on Instagram. I said, hey, man, I went to QT Marshall's seminar. He recommended me, messaged you. And he said, yeah, man, got back to me. And he's like, yeah, we're actually opening a school in Hendersonville. I live in Hendersonville. Are you serious? Shows me on the map where it's going to be at because they don't have like a Google location yet. Yeah. It's literally, I don't know, 500 yards from where my work was at the time. And the nights that they were holding class were the nights that I worked, and I got off in time to make it over there.
Wow.
So it was like just one thing into it. It's so stupid. It sounds so cliche, right? Like maybe I'm supposed to do this. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
like the seminar, and then the school's opening right here. It's right down the road. The schedule is even set up the way I need it to be. Like, it's just insane. So like one thing led to another, and then Tom Latimer took me under his wing, and so did Jerry Lynn and Jake Dumas as well. And like one thing led to another, like I said, and here we are now. So.
How much time was in between that seminar and your first match?
A full year and a half, probably.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that I was 100% ready. I see a lot of guys wrestle now that are not ready, and it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and like just you only get one time for a first impression, right? And especially in this business where
it's true.
They understand, like, if it's your first match, it's fine, they'll overlook it. But by your second one, you better know what the hell you're doing,
Yeah.
So I took way too long. I know I did. And Tom Latimer met with me. I'd go in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every day with him because all the other guys at the school had already been through his school, had already been booked matches, had already been working. I was the only one that hadn't. So he pulled me aside and was like, we're going to work in this ring. And I would work with him from 7 to 9:30, and then every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then once we got further along where like I could have matches with him, he would pull me in the ring. I would meet him there at 5. We would work 5 to 7:30 with each other, and then I would do the class 7:30 to 9:30 after that. And I was doing that 3 days a week. No matter if I remember I missed my wife's birthday, I missed my son's birthday party. Like I'm dedicated to the grind.
Sacrifice.
Because I understand. And I remember my wife one time, she was like, I really wish you were home tonight. And I said, why? She was like, I just miss you being around. And I remember texting her back, and I was like, it'll all be worth it, I promise. And like I think about that all the time. Like when I'm taking bookings and stuff, it's like, because I'm not wasting my time doing this. Like I'm going to do this because I want to be successful at it. I know it sucks for this year. I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. But it's going to be worth it in the end. And every time I step in that ring, I think about that. Like it's going to be worth it.
I'm doing this for us.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, first of all, what a grueling schedule. Those long days. And so I know a lot about like the old school stretching and I mean, in those early days, did anybody come out there and go like, I'm going to stretch this young guy?
No, I mean, not really, man. I think a lot of the guys that were there were younger guys. They were veterans as far as in the ring goes.
Right.
But they understood, like, because I came in and showed the utmost respect to people and shook everyone's hand. It was good to be around. Right now, there's a couple guys that came in after I'd been there for a while, and I'm like, I'm about to put a chop on this guy real quick. You know what I mean? So you do run into some of that, especially backstage some of the indie shows, which is crazy to me because we're all trying to get to the same spot. Right. So I don't understand. But no, there wasn't anybody. Jake Dumas was one of the coaches, and there's a couple of times he put me through the ringer just to see, like, let's see if he's picked up what I've been teaching him, you know. But, like, we've had guys like Jay Lethal come in.
Yeah.
I worked Jay Lethal in a match within my first year of even working.
That's wild.
And then he came to the school. I was probably like 6 months in, and we're going through drills. And he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, you wanna come in here and roll with me?" And I did like the look around, like, me? And he was like, "Yeah, you." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm just doing drills." So he's clearly seeing like athletic, like footwork, like that stuff's good. So like, I got in there. And I was like, "Dude, you're gonna have to teach me a lot because I'm only 6 months in." And it went from like, all right, we're doing simple things, and then went into 2 moves, then we're calling 3, then we're calling 4 moves, and it's like, he's like, "How long have you been doing this?" I was like, 6 months. He was like, "Really good." He's like, "Really good. Keep at it," you know. And then I got to work him like almost a year later, and I was like, "This is nuts."
Yeah.
Again, another thing, like, man, this is so weird how all this keeps happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes the universe just pushes you in a direction.
It does, and that's what, you know, the long answer for your question, but like that's really how I felt. Like it just was too much to like ignore. I thought,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like I just need to go do this and see what happens.
So at this point, everywhere you went, trying something new, doing it for the first time, everyone's kind of like hyping you up around you, being like, "Hey, there's something here."
Right.
So take us through your very first match.
Okay.
How did it go?
So,
Your first real match.
so I wrestled Damian Wayne at Redcon 1 in Harding Place. First match I've ever had. I think we had sold 300 tickets and 250 of them had my name attached to them. All my friends and family all drove from Hendersonville, Gallatin, wherever, to come out and watch. And it was the most nerve-wracking I've ever been. So old school wrestlers like Damian don't call a lot in the back. Call a lot of it in the ring. And for me, that's fine. But, brother, it's my first match. I'm a nervous wreck. I need to know every single step that's going on. So I get there, and they always have us, like, sign the big, like, signs, the big brochures they print out, and you sign them, whatever. Felt like a real professional, by the way. Sign and slide and slide and slide. You know? So I was like, "Hey, have you met Damien yet?" And I was like, "No, I haven't met him." I look outside, and Damien's smoking a cigarette in the parking lot. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm in, like, the best shape of my life for this at the time. So, like, okay, I'm still nervous, right? So he comes by later. I'm like, "Hey, man, it's Colby. Nice to meet you." "It's nice to meet you, man." He's like, I think you're going over. He's like, "We'll go over it later." And he just walks by me, and I'm like, "Brother, it's like 2 hours to the show. I'm a nervous wreck. I got to start putting my boots on because it takes me 30 minutes to put these damn things on." You know, comes up to me and very minimal conversation, just very short. "All right, dude, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? The ending, we'll do this. You cool with that? Are you comfortable with that?" And it's like, yeah. I mean, it's almost too simple. Where like, I feel like I'm missing something, right?
It can't be this easy.
It can't be this easy, right? I mean, my practice matches are much more elaborate than like what we're about to do, you know. And Damian, being the smart man he is with like pro wrestling, like in wrestling, you always have the good guy gets beat up first, right? We have the shine, the heat, the cut off, the comeback, the finish. That's usually how it works. So the good guy always gets, you know, a couple little bit shine at the beginning, then he gets cut off, and then it's him fighting back. Again, superhero villain kind of thing, right? Yeah. The big comeback.
The rise up.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what all this is about, right? If you don't have good fire or a good comeback, no one's going to care, and that's a huge deal. But Damien goes, "Dude, you got 250 people out here that want to watch me get my ass kicked. Why would I kick your ass half the time?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's just how these matches go, right?" You know what I mean? So we get out there, and like, I remember Tom Latimer was over here on my left. So at Redcon, we had like a big opening. That's where the entrance was. And then on the left side was where the fans would enter. So you're literally right next to him when you're about to enter. And I remember walking out, and Tom Latimer's over here. I don't know if Jerry was there, but Nick Aldis is over there, who is now W SmackDown general manager. He was there. Jake Jamal was there. Crimson was there. It's like all these guys that I've looked up to for a long time were there to watch me. Like my first match, I'm a nervous wreck, dude. Like,
I bet.
So I'm standing at the curtain, and I look over, and I see Tom, and he gives me a wink. Tom gave me this look probably my 3rd month in the school. I did a suplex, and Jake was sitting on this corner and to the front right of me, and Tom was sitting on the left of me outside. Hit a suplex, and I sat up and looked at Tom, and Tom looked at Jake, and Jake looked at me, and I was like, "Was that bad?" I was like, No, it was really, really good. Do it again. You know, so it was like, I'd get really down on myself, and Tom would always give me this look, like just a simple like head nod, like, "Hey, like tighten up, bro. Like you got this." You know what I mean? He'd nod his head like, I have faith in you. And that little nod, I was sitting there waiting, and someone got it on video. I'm standing there, and you can hear the crowd like chanting my name over and over again. I'm like, oh my God. It's so loud I can't hear the music. I have no idea when the music came on. I just heard a bass drop, and I was like, I think that's mine. Damien's already out there. I'm going. So someone has a clip of me from the outside looking at Tom, and Tom gave me that head, and you could see my head drop, and I'm like just a nervous wreck. And then it cuts through to the side, and you could see the crowd. And like, dude, it's the loudest I've ever heard a room in my life. Like, I didn't know. The entrance video, if you watch it from like the hard cam, I looked like the most confused, blown away guy at all time. Like, you know, Jerry Lynn watched it, was like, dude, I need a little more fire out of you. And he come out, I was like, dude, I did not know what to expect.
Yeah.
I expect to walk out and like, here's 10 people. There's my wife. There's my son, way over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I came out and I'm like, I just like, holy shit.
The women love Colby Carter, by the way. Like, I don't know how your wife feels about it or what. Like, I feel like they put you over first. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, hey, my wife's smoking hot, so it,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. But I definitely outkick my coverage with her, so I'm cool with that. But man, like coming through that curtain and like hearing the screams, it's like I came out and I just like looked around. You know, I got two buddies sitting on the front row. They're both dressed like Maui from Moana. And they have the full tattoo bodysuit on, you know. And at first I looked over and I was like, what the hell is that? You know, like I don't even know what to expect. You know, and I start like, and I on the video, because it follows me around, I give about 5 high fives, and then I turned around and it was like, it just finally hit me like, oh my God, I'm about to wrestle. Like, this is really happening, you know? And then I was fired up from then, right? And then Damien took care of me so much, and I will forever, you know, people have their different opinions on Damien. It's been wrestling for a while. But, dude, he took care of me in there. He'd throw me the ropes, like, hey, give me a clothesline. Okay. Give him a clothesline. Crowd pops. He rolls out, powders out. I go get him. Like, simple stuff. We made it so easy, but he made me look like a freaking superstar that night, man. And again, first impression means everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's people that would come up to me now. I had a guy message me yesterday. He's like, hey, man, your 2-year anniversary is coming up to wrestling. He was at my first show, and every show he comes to, like, he's like, hey, man, you remember you wrestled Damian Wayne on your first show? I'm like, that's insane, man. Like, but to have that kind of an impact, like, if you want to call it an impact, but like people remember that stuff, man. And I mean, it's just crazy to me, like the amount of reach you can have doing stuff like this.
I mean, I have a lot of respect for anyone who can work a room in whatever industry you're in.
Right.
You know, we worked on Broadway for a while, and we saw some not really talented singers crush.
Absolutely.
Because you can work the room.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, you could be the most talented singer that Broadway's ever seen, but if you can't work a room, you're not going anywhere,
1000%.
right? And so, like, this is something that, like, takes talent, but you got to be able to work a room.
Right.
And be talented.
Best example right now in WWE is Jey Uso.
Yeah.
I love Jey Uso, and he's even said it on a podcast he was on a few weeks ago or a month ago. He's like, you know, there's guys that are doing 30, 40 more moves than I can. Like, he basically said, like, I know I'm not the best wrestler. He's like, but when my music hits and that building's shaking, like, and we're all yeeting, you know what I mean? We're all yeeting around, right? Like, when everyone in the crowd's doing that, he's like, no one makes the building shake like I do. And what does the building shake mean? That means people are paying attention. That means people are spending money.
Yep.
It means people are buying merch, and they're bought into you, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, you can call him an entrant merchant, whatever you want to call him. Whatever it is, he's got the big gold strap right now, and he's got a rocket tied to his back. So, like, I'll be an entrant merchant my whole career if I could be.
Yeah.
I mean, less I got to do in the ring. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I think a lot of guys on the indies get stuck on that because they don't know how to work a room.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot easier as a heel to work a room because it's a lot easier for someone not to care about you than someone to root for you.
I think it's easier to make people not like you.
Absolutely. I give a middle finger to somebody, they're going to boo me. If I tell them, hey, cheer for me, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of guys go into, like, these really exceptional, extreme moves, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to do 450 splashes outside, stuff like that for a hot dog and a handshake. It's crazy to me. But I think guys struggle with that. And I think that's something that, like, wrestling schools need to be better with. Like, when I go to Florida and work shows, the Tampa crowd was nice to me. The Kissimmee show was nice to me. I went down to Miami, and they want us to be face-to-face as me and Cha-Cha Charlie. And Cha-Cha's like their hometown king down there. So I come out, I might have like 6 people cheer for me. It's awkward because I'm used to being here where, like, I can just walk out and everyone knows who I am. And, like, I love that, but also I need to get outside of Tennessee more to get more accustomed to that, right?
Yes, especially when it builds those rivalries.
Yeah, so I'm in Miami.
Fuck Cha-Cha.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I'll say it.
Dude, he's cheated twice. I don't even get to it. So he still owes me
we
one.
can get into that.
He still owes me
Yeah.
one. But being able to work a room, you're right.
Yeah.
There's so many guys, like you said, that are professional wrestlers that aren't the best wrestlers. But dude, they move merchandise. People buy into their character.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Oh, it is.
They don't care how good of a wrestler you are to an extent. But if
Yeah.
you can sell tickets, make someone else look good, I mean, it's a business. You're making money. They want you.
Well, speaking of a business and selling tickets, we got a big event coming up June 1st, and we're going to get into that right after we take this break and hear a word from our sponsors. And we are back. We are here with Colby the Code Carter, our first local legend on this particular show. Colby, at this point, we've kind of talked about where your love for wrestling started, how deep rooted that is to you, all the way up into like really breaking down that first match, the nerves and the excitement of that first match. Now, kind of looking forward, you've held a couple championship belts in your CCW time, but it's very evident in any poster that I've seen. I've got some hanging up at the gym. You are the face, the baby face of the Pro Wrestling Symphony.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and talk about what that is, how you got involved with them, and going ahead and plugging that event on June 1st.
June 1st, Brooklyn Bowl, right? First time for Pro Wrestling Symphony. I met Rory, Connor, and Pat at the wrestling school, the Jerry Lynn, Tom Latimer one that I've talked about so much. I met them there, and we all hit it off immediately. I really liked their mindsets for pro wrestling in general. I mean, honestly, they're wrestling nerds, but I love that. Like, I would say something and be like, oh, that's like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels in '96. And I'm like, I mean, I know my wrestling, but like these guys really know it.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Connor coming from comics and stuff.
Right. Like, so like they all present like different things in wrestling,
Yeah.
right? Like businessmen, wrestling nerds, social media outreach kind of guy, that's also a wrestling nerd, right? But they just really know their stuff, man. And like, we always hit it off. And like, we were talking about doing shows and stuff 3 years ago when I first started at the school, and I liked their ideas, and I think they liked my ideas, and we just kind of hit it off from then, And this has been something that they've discussed for 3, maybe more years now. And it was one of those like, yeah, that sounds great. That'd be cool. And then I don't hear from them for a while because, they left and I was still there, and we stayed in contact or whatever. But now, like, we come to the realization that, like, hey, man, we want to meet you for dinner one night. Just me and you. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, right? Like, I mean, I don't mind. I'm happy to see him because I haven't seen him. I haven't seen Rory in a while, right? So
I'm married though.
Right. We're going to this Japanese restaurant that I'm pretty sure closed down, Yokohama in Hendersonville. I'm pretty sure it's closed, but I mean, I'll meet you there, right? Whatever. Doesn't seem weird, right? So we get there, and I noticed
It's open.
And yeah, it is open.
Okay.
So I noticed that Connor's car is there, and I was like, I know what this is about, I think. So I walk in, and they're like, hey, go ahead and order your food. And all three of them at the same time get a business card out and throw it on the table. All of it has their own name on it. It says Pro Wrestling Symphony on it. And I'm like, what is this? Like, is this what I think it is? So we're doing it, man, and we want you to be the first one to know about it. So I was the first one they came to. I have all their first business cards. They need to frame those too, by the way, because they're going to be worth something down the road. But it was really cool to be like included so early and so often in it.
Yeah.
Like they could have picked anyone else in Nashville.
Kind of being built around you.
I mean, and there's so much good talent around here. Like, I am just so thankful they even thought of me to even be on the show, let alone to put me in the main event against Dijak, who is a former WWE superstar.
Yeah.
Right. And the Brooklyn Bowl venue, such a dope venue.
Great venue.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be so fun. And I think a lot of independent shows nationally, really, they lack the production value. And I know they're wanting to really drive that home, which I'm excited about. Because it's hard to get excited when someone hangs a bed sheet in front of you to come out, and it's like, here I am. All right, now I'm back. You know, I worked one show, dude. You came out at a gymnasium, and they had stairs down the side, and the crowd was here, so you had to come out and be like, yeah, hold on, and then you had to go down the stairs and then walk back around to get to the crowd. You're talking about killing every bit of momentum you have. Not to mention there was 30 people there, right? So that's always tough anyway. But, like, with this Symphony, man, like, their values are, like, they want to be a professional wrestling company, and I love that. They want people, to uphold, like, their contractual obligations that they have. Like, hey, like, no drinking during the show, none of this. So that's common in independent wrestling. Like, it sucks to see it, and they're big on, like, hey, we're professional. We want people from out of state, whatever, to come here and to watch and to perform. We want this to be like a destination place in Nashville. And we want to take care of Nashville, which is nice.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about that, man. And I can't thank those guys enough for even thinking of me to be on the show, like I said, let alone be in the main event for the first one.
It really reminds me of early ECW days. The Brooklyn Bowl.
Yeah.
Just the way it's set up.
Yeah.
I feel like anybody that wants to see it needs to come see it. Also, like, you're going to witness some history here.
Absolutely.
You can kind of feel it in the air.
Yeah, and I think so too. And I really think like it's going to be kind of like what you said. It's going to be something that's like legendary, something that's epic that goes on here.
The concept of Pro Wrestling Symphony, when Connor came to me and did the business card thing to me as well.
He did it to you too. It's Connor's info people.
Yeah, we were in my office, so it wasn't as cool as like
meeting
steak dinner.
But
steak dinner of a mysterious closed Japanese restaurant.
I'm running out of these.
I need that back when we're done talking.
Budget.
I get it, dude.
Cool. I'll just take a picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
But reading the name Pro Wrestling Symphony, I didn't really know what to expect.
Sure.
So I was very intrigued in the conversation. So going a little bit deeper onto like what the actual concept is, the name, the symphony part of it, and what is unique about this versus some backyard something.
Right. And I mean, with the Symphony, we're playing off the Nashville thing, right?
Right.
I had someone ask me, like, are they going to play the Symphony during the show? Maybe. It's not a bad idea. Like, maybe that's a possible thing.
Yeah.
But with them playing off the Nashville, because it is going to be a Nashville homegrown thing, and we don't have one here. Like, I like CCW. They've done me so well so long, but they're based out of Florida.
Right.
So, like, they come up here, and we get a good influx of talent when they come up here, but, like, it is what it is. It's not made out of Nashville like Symphony is. And they want to put the homegrown talent. They want to build something outside of Nashville. Dude, Nashville's huge. We talked about that earlier. Like, the city is so buzzing right now. And, like, putting something right in the middle of Nashville, the Brooklyn Bowl, man, like, is so awesome. I'm so excited for what they're going to do with this thing, man.
And I think the idea of like really mixing that like music concert value with that makes it where a lot of bang for your buck. Whereas like if you did come to any local wrestling, it might have been in the basement of the Stadium Inn.
God forbid.
You might need
everyone
a
got a
tetanus
shot.
shot.
Saw wrestling in the Millersville, that happened.
In a field somewhere.
Right.
And so like having this where like it's a big bang for your buck. You're going to get a concert. You're going to get some athletic entertainment.
Right.
And so I think that's a really unique way of combining things to get people in the seats.
Absolutely.
To really jump this off, which is where I think that this buzz of this is going to be something we've all been waiting for.
Right.
Because, I mean, good luck finding anyone around close to our age, even younger, that's not a wrestling fan. I mean, wrestling in general, I think, is at its most popular now.
Oh, there's no question about that. It's so mainstream right now, too.
So mainstream.
It's bigger than it's ever been.
I agree. Now, like, the Stone Cold, The Rock, like that era was really, really popular, right? But now, like with social media streaming and the different revenue sources and incomes, like all of that, it's the biggest biggest thing
Yeah, I
around
think
right now.
from a quality, from like the characters and thing,
Mm-hmm.
probably nostalgia will always prefer the Attitude Era.
Of course.
But it's definitely in more households, more eyes right now, and the fact that Connor and them are bringing it at this level, that even from the jump is not backyard, anything
Right.
cheap. Like
Right.
this is going to be a production. They're bringing in the talent.
Yeah.
And it's going to be
I mean, there's been
it's going to be really crazy to hear the Colby chant.
Dude, I hope, God, if you're coming, please chant us.
I'll be there.
I can't wait.
Donovan, if you want to go through him, you got to go through all of us.
Yeah, we're local.
Yeah.
It's our city.
Ooh.
Don't touch my boy and expect no repercussions.
But I'm very excited. And like you said, the talent level, right? Like, and I don't mean this negatively, but there's been a lot of locker rooms where, like, I look around and I'm like, am I the only one here that cares? Am I the only one here that's trying to be professional at this,
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on those guys that, some, for whatever reason. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are better wrestlers than me, like we talked about the Jey Uso thing, right? But I had a promoter come up to me and tell me, he goes, dude, every locker room I see you in, you stand out. And I said, I mean, for me, that means a lot because I put a lot of work in the gym, my nutrition and stuff like that. But also, like, I want to be in locker rooms where all those guys are like, they should be on TV. And, like, I think that's what kind of locker room we're going to have here. I mean, dude, Dijak's been on WWE Superstar, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done it all, man. So, like, I'm very honored and thankful to be able to share a ring with him. But we got to take him down, though.
Got to.
It's my city.
Got
bro.
to. In Nashville?
It's my city, man.
Get the hell out of here. So are you still in communication with Thomas and those guys, or who is kind of like your mentor now?
I still talk to Tom all the time. I talk to him probably more than anybody. I talk to Jerry Lynn a whole lot now. He's busy with all the AEW stuff, of course. But AEW was in Knoxville a few months ago, and we've always talked about having a road trip together. So I picked him up at his house, and then we rode to Knoxville on it was a Tuesday. So we were there Tuesday, stayed there Wednesday for Dynamite, and then we left Thursday morning. But I showed him a 12-minute match. He lives in, I want to say, like Manchester area. We met in Smyrna. I guess it's technically in the middle, I think, from Gallatin.
Sure.
Whatever. I'll drive to freaking Memphis to meet with Jerry. I don't care.
Yeah.
So we went to Panera, and it was like a 12-minute match that I had. We sat there for like 3.5 hours going over it. Every little step, every little bit. And he's been coming to a couple of my matches. So, like, he's always someone. And Marty Elias is another guy that I've been talking to. He used to be a WWE official referee. He was the one that refereed the greatest match of all time, which was Shawn Michaels and Undertaker WrestleMania 25.
Oh, wow.
So he's came to a couple of my shows. So he's been really good about, like, giving me feedback on stuff and shitting on my matches, which I always need. Because they're not always great. It is what it is. And
Yeah,
I know
but
that.
I would expect that, like, that part comes naturally for you. Again, going back to football roots,
Right.
you could have a game that you won by 50, which at the Storm we did that a lot.
Yes.
Right. But, like, you could still watch film.
Absolutely.
Right. Your first step off the line isn't always the best one. Like, there's always things to improve,
Right.
but not everyone can self-reflect on that.
Absolutely.
As easily.
And as a football player, you're always your biggest critic. You should be.
Should
I
be.
think.
Yeah.
I think. Now I'm really hard on myself. There was a couple times during practice I'd lose my cool over something because I messed something up. And I've had to reel it in that, like, in football there's a right and a wrong. Right. If you start, like you said, your left foot, it's got to be your right. If you're running a slant and your wrong foot's up, you're going to be all thrown off, right?
Yeah,
timing's
everything.
In wrestling, timing and footwork is so vital, but there's still that little gray area where, like, in football, there's not. If I blow my coverage and I can't catch up to him and he throws a bomb, it's over. Like,
Touchdown.
He scores, I'm never
Yeah.
going to hear the end of it, right?
Right.
Well, in wrestling, like, oh, shit, we got off course here. Hey, do this, and then we'll get back. So, like, there's a little gray area where you can kind of, like, ad-lib and kind of get back to improv and get back to where you're trying to go, right? So that's been kind of my saving grace because I'm so adamant on being right and not messing up. And because my job is to make the other guy look good, too. And I told the guy I worked last month, I said, my biggest thing is I don't want to mess you up. Like, I know you're not going to mess me up because I'm not going to let you mess me up. But I don't want to mess you up, right? So, I think it goes both ways, and I think that makes a better dance partner for somebody too. But yeah, that whole mindset of, like, I can't screw this up. I want to be right. I don't want to be wrong. And yeah, dude, the match was great. And I go to the back and I'm like, yeah, but this one move I screwed up on. And I hate it because you know how it is. You'll send them the whole match or like the game film, like you said. And you're like, oh, shit, I know when this happens. I know what happens on this play before it even happens. It's like, I hope he doesn't see it. You know, it's like, Colby, what was up with? Like, damn it. You know what I mean? But that's how it is. But I think you have to be your biggest critic to get to where I want to go, you know, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. The code. A couple things I want to talk about the code. How did that come about? Obviously, it seems like you're pretty authentic with just you.
Yeah.
You're a likable dude, so I can see why people
that.
people get behind you. But where did the name come from? And like the song.
Yeah.
You got the theme song. How did that come about? Talk about that.
So I'll start with the code because the code came before the theme song, right? So with the code, it started out like at the school. Like they were trying to come up with all these gimmick nicknames because back in the day you'd have like whoever the beautiful and it's the ugliest person in the world. So like
irony.
Yeah, so you didn't want it to be
Satire.
like something like that sounded like an old school wrestler, right, or something like that. But the code really started. John Cena's huge, right? Hustle, loyalty, respect, kind of thing. Never give up, that whole thing. And like I've always like Cena's never been like my guy, but like that's always something in football, right? Like shit gets hard. Like
Especially now, he's trying to ruin wrestling.
Dude, what a jerk, right? Black and white entrance video and all that crap, trash. But it was one of those things, like the same thing. Like I've always been taught, like I'm not going to give up, whatever. And it's like, the game Triple H was always cool.
Yeah.
And if you say the game initially, you're like, it's kind of stupid. What do you mean it's the game? Like and it was like I'm the game because I'm that damn good. And it just kind of went into one thing, and we were just kind of throwing things around. Someone was like, "Oh, how about Colby the Cooler Carter?" I was like, "That's stupid." And it was like Colby the Cool. Everything that had a C in it, they were trying to come up with. And I was like,
I got a mental image of you coming in on one of those like motorized beer coolers.
like the cooler, the spread eagle on it, riding my way to the ring,
America.
So like there was a lot of things that went into that, and then the code kind of stuck one day, and then it got to where everyone at the wrestling school was saying, "Hey Colby, what's up?" I said, "Hey code," and it just stuck. So now it's like, I guess I'm the code.
Well, like you said with the game, it's like you are the game, and it's like I am the code here.
Right.
If you're living by the wrestling code, I am
standard.
Because it's live by the code, die by the code, right? Like
Yeah.
stick to the code. There's a lot of that goes into it, right?
A lot of people don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I'm all about like my regimen, my schedule. I stick to the code no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, looking at your arms and those legs popping out, man, you're definitely on a routine,
well,
dog.
but it's one of those like it is what like I'm all about like chasing perfection because I'm gonna go catch it at one facet or another. I'm gonna catch it, and I have to stick to a routine. I have to stick to what I know and what I'm good at, and I have to stick to the code, right? So it's kind of stuck ever since then. So like I said, everyone comes over, "What's up, code? What's up, code?" And now it's just Colby is almost like not a thing anymore. It's usually it's like Code Carter now, really, but still chant Colby though.
Yeah.
I heard a kid lose his voice screaming it. So seriously,
It's probably his kid.
maybe so, dude. Mine will wear the shirt, but he likes a lot of other workers instead of me instead. Like.
Keep you
that
humble,
works.
right?
Dude, yeah,
Keep
there's
you humble.
two guys, Skits and Ozzy. Shout out to Skits and Ozzy for CCW. Skits comes out full face paint. Ozzy's the big metalhead, smashes Liquid Death over his head.
Oh, yeah.
My son loves them.
It's like Stone Cold, but
Dude, so
non-alcoholic.
Ozzy has Mosh
edge.
tattooed across his stomach, and he hits it. He goes, Mosh, Mosh. My son thinks that is the greatest thing ever. I'm sitting out there looking. I'm like, they're more over to my son than I am, man. Damn, and my son will chant my name when I come out, but it's like I'll look up there and see him, and like he just loves it, man. He loves those two guys too, and they're good dudes too, man. So I let that one slide. Whatever.
It's
Man,
like
it has to be so cool to like be doing something and bringing him so close
Oh,
into something that
absolutely.
he loves.
It's fun, man. And now I've gotten to where like I'll go upstairs and he'll have SmackDown on or something, and I'm like, "What are you watching?" He's like, "Wrestling." I'm like, cool. And I just keep on moving, Like, they're like, "You want to watch this?" Like, okay. So I let him watch it on his own. You know what I mean?
I know. I get scared with my son. I'm like, if I act too interested, he'll be like, "This ain't cool."
Right.
And
So
back
yeah, I'm
off,
gonna let him do his thing. You know what I mean? And then so my first match, Rory's friend Josh Qualls was there. I'd never met Josh before, but Rory, that is one of the owners of Pro Wrestling Symphony. They all came to my first show, and I came out to Fire Emoji by YB. which is a hip hop Christian, but the beat is like it's got like some Darth Vader, like Imperial, like it's got some really cool beats to it, and I really liked it. But again, I couldn't even hear it the first time it came out anyway. Well, Rory was like, "Hey man, I got a buddy of mine that like wants to make you a theme song," and I was like, "Okay, like
Say less.
Well, right. So I'm thinking like, well, he sends me some of his stuff, and Josh is part of a heavy metal group called Rottennest, and I mean they are heavy, which I like to an extent, but like it's not really my thing to come out to, you know. And I was like, well, that'd be cool, but like I don't know. So then he sends me some samples of like, oh, he's made like hip hop entrance themes. I'm like, yeah, I'd like something like with hip hop theme, like personally. I think that fits me because everyone has a heavy metal entrance.
Yeah.
5 Finger Death Punch.
Right.
Bad Company, I've heard a million times. Shout out Chase Stevens. I've heard a million times, right? So I wanted something a little different. And I met with Josh, and like we kind of talked through what we were doing. And he was, all right, how about I get this? And every other day he'd send me, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And then it just kind of went into like the hip hop theme that it is now. And then like I kind of was like, all right, I'm kind of like over it. Like, all right, let's do something different. So then he made a second version of it. And maybe June 1st, we might have a third version coming of it.
Oh.
So I haven't even heard it yet. So I've heard little samples of it yet. So
Well,
June
I would like to
1st.
say I'm excited to hear it on June 1st, but we're not even going to hear it from all the Colby. We won't even hear it.
Hey man, it's a music venue, so you know they're gonna have it cranked up in there. You know what I
They
mean?
better.
So,
They better. We're going to be loud in that motherfucker.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
Going back to kind of the talent,
Okay.
you know, I don't like cha-cha.
I don't either, man.
Seems like a bitch. But what I've noticed is I think everyone, even the other talent, other territories, know that whether you know you're the guy right now or not, because you're a humble dude,
Yeah.
but they seem to be coming after you. They're coming
Yeah.
into your gym, jumping you, coming out the school, waiting for you in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Why do you think that people are trying to come at you the way that they're coming at you?
I think, you know, a lot of people have paid a lot of dues, and I appreciate that. I haven't been doing this very long. So a lot of people that have been doing it for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you know, like I won a first title within my first 3 matches with CCW. I won the international championship from Beastman, my 3rd match ever. And I think it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I think a lot of people are like, man, this kid ain't even paid his dues yet. And like, why is he getting a title on him? And then lost that title, got a CCW Tennessee Heavyweight Championship within my first year again.
Yeah.
And it was like, why is he getting this? He's not even a Tennessee guy, like, even though I am. They just didn't know. But why, I don't understand why he's getting these opportunities and I'm not. So I think it's a lot of jealousy, and that's okay. I get it.
That makes sense.
And I totally get it, right? If I had been working my backside off and someone else was getting opportunities, instead of looking at that person and being jealous, I'd probably say, all right, maybe I need to step my shit up a little more, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just how I think, and a lot of these guys are not happy with that, you know?
Yeah.
And
well, they can be mad, but
Yeah.
even your answer, I mean, that's a great answer. Like, that's
I mean,
That's someone with the heart that needs to get put
I'm
over.
a very humble person. Like I always have been, because what did Cam Ward tweet out the other day when he got drafted? You know, he's like, I'm always very humble because I know what it feels like to be at the bottom.
Yeah.
And like that's such a true statement, man. Like I've been down there, and like so I'll forever be humble in whatever I'm doing. But also sometimes you got to let somebody know that you're the guy, that you're him. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
within reason, like I'll let someone know without being too obvious about it. You know. So.
Well, that's because you're a good guy. I'll talk your shit for you.
Hey, that's fine. I need
Hey,
someone to.
I'm
you
right
know,
down the
so.
road from the gym, so if he rolls back up, just give me a shout.
Hey, I
I'm
might
there.
need to. Maybe I need to pay a visit to his job next time. you
Hey,
know,
let's go.
So,
Yeah.
Just saying,
Hey,
you know,
let's go.
Just saying, you know.
I'm ready anytime you need me to ride. I think also with the jealousy and stuff like that, I think some people seem like they've accepted where they are at their federation,
Yeah.
especially because like if someone gets to the top of their regional
Mm-hmm.
federation, going to a bigger step, you're gonna have to go from like the top and then go back down to the bottom,
Just
pay
like
your
through
dues
schools,
again.
right? Just like going through school, right?
Exactly,
You're a freshman,
right?
you're back to the front of the line.
Exactly.
Back
You
to the
know,
line.
after you graduate high school, you go to college, you
Yep.
got to pay your dues again,
Yep.
right? You know, and then the same thing, you know, anyone who gets to go to the league, you know, you got to pay that rookie dinner.
Yep.
You got to, you know,
Right.
do some stuff like that that's still paying your dues. But I feel like that can be scary for a lot of people.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so the idea of going from like big fish in a small pond to a small fish in the big pond
Yeah.
can be scary. But so I don't know that everyone's doing it to try to then level up.
Absolutely.
And what is like? What is your mentality with wrestling as a whole? Like, where are you trying to take this? Obviously, we've got June 1st at Brooklyn Bowl coming up. Obviously, that's the priority right now with Pro Wrestling Symphony.
Yeah.
But big picture, where are you really trying to go?
I mean, I want to get signed. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. And I think, and to your point, like I struggle with a lot of that. Tom Latimer told me a long time ago. He said, "Hey, you're going to find guys very rare that have the drive that you do that want to get to where you want to go. Everyone wants to go to AEW or WWE. Everyone does in theory until they have to work for it, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, always sounds great until you have to put in the work, right? Until what's the Mike Tyson quote? You always got a plan to get punched in the face, right? And it's like, oh my God, like this is really hard. Like this is a freaking grind, man. And he told me you're going to find a lot of weekend warriors. And like for me, like if you want to do it as a hobby, that's fine. I'm not beating myself up for a hobby. I'll go play slow pitch softball or something where I'm just jogging around the bases, right? But for this, like, and people that just do that, like, it's hard for me to accept because I'm trying to get to that level of getting signed. I'm trying to get to the highest point possible, make a lot of money for my family and myself, and to be able to be a huge influence in this business in the world. So if you're not like that, I have a hard time with you. Like, that's fine, but like, just get out of my way.
Yeah,
Because
I think that goes back to you talking about like the locker rooms feeling different and the people that stand out.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, strapping dude. You're not going to find those everywhere, right? But at the same time, like I think you can tell. I mean, we played together at the Storm.
Yeah.
There were some people there that didn't ever want to leave the Storm.
Right.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Because we were a big deal.
And they say, this is the highest I'm ever going to get, and I'm okay with that. And I will never be that way. Ever.
Yeah. But there were some of us on that team that were definitely using that to take the next step. But because you could say the same thing for the NFL. Some of those camps to prep for the NFL Combine,
Yeah.
dozens and dozens of people in it. By the end of the camp, when you realize that, like, what it actually takes to try to get that next step, man, the numbers dwindle down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it gets hard. People don't like to do hard things. They just don't.
No.
I mean, that's what I do for a living, right? It's like coach people on how to do hard things,
Yeah.
So they just don't want to put in the work, and that's fine. Like, again, if that's your hobby and that's what you want to do, that's fine. But, like, for me, like, just get out of my way. I'm not going to push you out of my way, but I'm going to.
That's because you're a good guy.
But I'm kindly going to walk around. I'm kindly going to walk around you and get to the head of the table where I belong.
I mean, doing research for this podcast, reaching out to people, talking to people, I kept getting that back every time of like, what you see is what you get. He is really that good dude, like that you're seeing on camera, that you're seeing in the ring, like, and that's. I mean, I think that's why everybody's getting behind you and gotten behind you so long. Is like, you can tell there is no persona. This is the guy that you're with.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not a character. It's not.
Right.
I am who I am, and I think people appreciate the authenticity behind it, And again, we talk about like the nostalgia with the characters and the gimmicks and all that, and that's great. That's just not me, man.
Authentic.
That's it.
So June 1st, Sunday, June 1st, Brooklyn Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Tell everyone where can we get the tickets.
Tickets are on the website. I have them in my Instagram bio as well, Pro Wrestling Symphony. You can even go to Google, type in Pro Wrestling Symphony Nashville, and it'll pop up. They're on Ticketmaster.
Yep.
So general admission, they have box seats with drink service as well. Pretty sweet.
That's pretty cool.
You don't get that at any like independent show. You know what I mean? So the venue itself is insane.
Bottle service.
Yeah. So you get a lot of good perks there. But yeah, so on their website, ProWrestlingSymphony.com, and also on the links, and I'll obviously post it on my socials over and over again until June 1st.
Yeah. How can we find you?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at the Colby Carter. I hate putting the in front of it, but Colby Carter was already taken, so the it is. So, not to sound like that guy, but the Colby Carter. It's on Instagram.
Probably
and Twitter,
Cha took it just to.
Bro, it wouldn't surprise me, man. That guy's a thief, man.
Just to be a jerk. Well, I will definitely be there. I'm excited to watch you do your thing. Main event, headliner, going against Donovan. Anything you want to say right now to him?
I hope he's ready for Nashville, man. That's all I can say. I know he's been everywhere, and again, I have nothing but respect for him because he has been everywhere that I want to be. and he's been places now that I would love to go, right? But I hope he's ready for Nashville, and I hope he's ready for the best Colby Carter anyone's seen. So I might have a new entrance theme, and I might have some new ring gear I'm busting out too. So we'll see. We'll see.
I don't think Donovan's ready.
I think that's the first time I told anyone about that. So y'all are exclusive on that one. So
Man, Donovan, you're not ready for this. You've been a lot of places, but you ain't been to Nashville. You better get ready. Come to Nashville. Pro Wrestling Symphony, Sunday, June 1st. Get your tickets. Colby, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you doing this. And we will see all of y'all at the show on June 1st. If you liked this episode, which I know you did, because I learned a lot, even as a real wrestling fan, I learned a lot about all of this. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And for the love of Nashville, tune into the next one.